Hello, my name is David and I live in Northern California, and I just wanted to do a video for my California Dreamin' channel. I just got back from Hawaii and we were staying at the Kanapali Ali'i, and as we were there, we were able to drive through Lahaina, at least what was open. You can actually see all the way to the ocean now. You can't drive on Front Street, but you can drive pretty much through Lahaina. You just can't get down toward where the businesses were, but you can see because it's pretty flat. I mean, the devastation was just unbelievable. And so I wanted to talk about that because it happened, with a fire. And the fire was like one of these infernal fires like what we get in California. From what I understand, it was the fault of some wires that had been blown down, and they started a grass fire. And when the firemen went there, I don't like to blame it on the firemen, but this sounds like what's going on is they said that it was out and it was extinguished, but it actually relit back up again. That supposedly is what happened. And it's a combination of the wind and also all the structures being made out of wood that burned such an intense fire through there that it destroyed a lot of houses, killed a lot of people, and places that we used to go, we've gone to for 36 years, they're gone. We used to go to Chemo's down there. Every time we would go, we'd always go to Chemo's. We'd go to Fleetwood. It's a really interesting bar. It was owned by one of the owners of Fleetwood Mac. And he had a Fleetwood Cadillac hanging upside down in the bar area. Chemo's was right on the water. I mean, just a really impressive place to go to right at sunset. And just all wood, just beautiful. And then a lot of the ABC stores and a lot of the boutiques and stuff. I think it was called the Pioneer Inn. That was all wood, and it all burnt down to the ground. They said that when the firemen went to get water, there wasn't enough pressure at the fire hydrants, so they basically didn't have water, kind of like the LA thing, or not enough water. And then with all these wood structures, and I remember going into some of them, and I noticed that they didn't have any of those fire sprinklers inside some of the businesses. I mean, they were old, so they're grandfathered in. I guess they didn't need to have it. But in California, it's just unbelievable. You cannot have a place that doesn't have. They're putting fire sprinklers in houses now. There's some houses that have to have them. We know because they have in designing pools, they have a feeder faucet on the side, and you cannot touch that feeder faucet. You can't move. It sticks way out there, like maybe 15 inches away from the house, and sometimes it really restricts us being able to get a tractor in there, but you cannot touch that. That cannot be messed with at all. You can't cut it and move it temporarily. No. You can't even mess with that at all. So I don't know if it's that much of a difference, because where we're at, there's not a lot of, well, there are a lot of bushes and stuff, but there's also a lot of the houses are made out of stucco on the outside, and then Moni or tile on the roof. So I know we had the Oakland fires, and everybody had shake roofs over there. So the fire was going from one shake roof to another, and it kept the fire going. But one of the things I wanted to talk about was I watched the video from a guy who owns a real estate company, and he had said some, things that were just going on. Just say it like it is. And they were restricting his videos. They did not want that information out there. And so they actually told him to take the video down, because he's a real estate agent, they can control him somewhat. But I guess he took him down and then he put him back up. But he kind of went through and showed what was going on. in this slow process of being able to build these houses out. We did see some buildings being rebuilt, but the vast majority of the businesses downtown were not being rebuilt. I watched a video of a fireman. He was from Portland, I believe, and then he ended up moving with his wife to Lahaina, and they bought an $800,000 house. And amazingly, they don't pay that much to their firemen. They're both firemen. So he had a chance to talk about the frustration of what was going on. And really the only thing that was happening for him was he couldn't touch his property because they said it had a lot of hazardous material there, and they needed to remove all the dirt and then bring the new dirt in there before they could start. But the only advantage he had was they'd given him a moratorium on not having to make his house payment. I mean, he had no house. The house was gone, but he didn't have to make his house payment. And that was supposed to last for a year. So now it's like 530 days there. So I don't know what happened to a lot of these people that have had to start making their house payment. I hope they're not losing their properties, but that's what they kind of think. It's just the frustration of working with a bureaucracy. We did see a lot of movement of dirt and gravel put in and stuff, so stuff is being done, but it's such a slow pace. And I think it's just government. They say trying to get a permit there is like crazy. So as we're driving into Lahaina, I noticed on one side of the road there used to be a lot of homeless there, between the highway and the ocean. And this was 2 years ago when I went, about 2 months before Lahaina burned down. We had gone there, so we were looking to see it one last time. And I noticed there was a ton of homeless on the highway going into Lahaina, and they're not there anymore. In fact, it's pretty clean. There was a lot of places where you could see there were places to stop, but there wasn't anybody camped out there. And so you can tell that they made a big effort to move those homeless. But now the homeless are on the other side of the highway, away from the ocean. And I mean, you can look in there and you can see some of them are living in cars. A lot of them are living in, I would say mostly cars, but in camps. And it goes way back into the trees. And so I guess they think that if you're driving there and you're looking out at the ocean, you're not going to notice all the people living, in the trees on the other side. Just really sad, the state of affairs over there. They just, number one, don't have any housing. They did have them in the hotels, the bigger hotels, and then it got to a point, maybe after a year, they had to move out because people needed to rent them out to the people coming back there. When we went there, it was just super expensive. It's not a place to go, if you're the faint of heart in terms of paying for dinners and stuff. And we're always pretty good tippers, but it's really strange because a lot of the businesses, they don't even start out like 10% or 12% or 18%. They start out 20% for the tips, and they go up to 25% of the bill. And these bills, it's not unusual to have a $100 bill, $100 dinner for two, and we don't even really drink. So it was very expensive, and yet there were still a ton of people there. Not as busy as I've seen in the past, because we've been going there for 36 years, but it was pretty busy. I know the hotel that we were staying in, it was the Cannibali Lee, and we had asked for a late checkout. So I think you normally check out at 10 o'clock, and we were saying, maybe like 1 o'clock, because our flight was 4 o'clock. And they were saying, yeah, well, you can do that, but you're going to have to pay for half a day. And I'm like, wait a minute, I really didn't know how much we had paid prior to this, because my wife had set it up. She had used her bonus to take me there for my birthday. But it was $800 a night. You know, we got some special pricing because we had some points and stuff like that. But they basically wanted to charge us $400 for 3 hours. So we're just like, no, we'll just check out early. And we'll just check out not early, but at the time that we were going to check out. And then we'll just keep our car there and you can stay on the beach. So we did for 3 hours just to get our last time there. But you know, it's just sad. It's not a place that everybody can go now, and it's just gotten so expensive. I mean, there's obviously cheaper places to stay than we stayed, but it is pretty expensive over there. And I mean, nowadays, you know, you have other opportunities, you know. In fact, we were thinking we could either go there or we could go on a cruise. It's going to be the same amount. So, but a cruise is all inclusive, you know. You don't have this one. We had to pay for most all of our meals. We were in a condo, so we saved a little bit. But it is kind of amazing. I feel really sorry for the Hawaiian people because everything is so expensive.